Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again. You know, I'm having some very serious problems. I've lived too long to go through so much junk. 65 years old. Been fighting for peace and prosperity and joy for every American citizen for the past 35 years. The only thing that has happened as far as I'm concerned is that they've lost it. Not due to what I do, but what else is being done. You know, I think about people who believe that the earth came from a big bang. Existence came from a big bang. I think about the people who say that man evolved. Some say he evolved from an ape. And I'm wondering from what location did these particular apes come from that man evolved from? Or was apes around so long that on one given period of time, month, date, whatever, a certain monkeys start turning to human beings. So they walked out of wherever they were in the monkey field into Soulville. That doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather go with the intelligent design. I'd rather believe that God created man. Put man here for whatever reason. You know, we've been told that he put him here for company, put him here to do some work. Whatever the reasons were. We might not never know what they were, but they were there because man is in existence. And I can see him just making man. Did he make him out of the dirt? I don't know. The Bible said he did. I figure God could do whatever he wanted to do. Could have made him out of air. But what I want to say to you is this. If you made man, and man hung around doing things, and you could tell by your own feelings that man was kind of like you. And so you wanted to give him a little company. Make him a helpmeet. But being wise, you make not another man, gay people, a woman. But he made him for a special purpose there. First of all, this man who had to provide for his shelter, provide for his food, provide for his clothing, provide for everything that man needed, it was on him. So God gave him a helpmate, somebody to cut that in half. Gave him a woman. Now man ain't got to work so hard. He can take his time, even take a break. Woman helps him. But God in his infinite wisdom set it up so that they could produce children. So they produced children. Now you got to work, spread it around a little bit further. You don't have to work so hard on the little things that you were doing. You can spread it around. And as these kids get older, you can give them responsibilities that they can, maybe somebody take care of the shelter, somebody take care of the food, somebody take care of the different things that have to be taken care of. And I'm sure it didn't stop there. And being that it didn't stop there, the indication is that some females came out of that bunch somewhere. And over time, incest set in. Not that anything was wrong with it. Who knew? Who knew? Adam had sex with himself, it seems, if the woman was made from him. Well, men do that all the time anyway, and women. However, they produced a family that was able to grow, a family that allowed Cain, should I say, to produce an extended family. And as that family was extended, others, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. And when this family was increasing so that it could make life easier for humankind, it made it rougher. And it made it rougher for this reason. When Adam and Eve were in the garden, supposedly, somebody gave them a different direction about life. And they followed that direction. And they have been following that direction from that day to this very day. There is no peace in the land. Even in America, you got niggers and hunkies. Even in America, you got, I'm not going to say those other things, but you got all of this hatred. You got all of this crime and violence, and it all comes from a lack of guidance. And so you sit there, you think about this thing, you say, wow, why is this like this? How are you going to get it better? But it doesn't get any better. You find a group of people here who might think that they're tapped into something that's better than what they've been living, so they tap into it. They might try to grow it into a religion. Creep off some old folks out of that crowd to come over there and join with you. So now you think you got something going on, while somebody else on the other side is thinking something a little bit, thinking basically the same things, but a little bit different than you. So they're creating something else, and it's against you, and you against it, and both of y'all against the mainstream. And so we got a great big old conglomerate of messed up confusion. All of this stuff. Woo, it doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. I think about, I was watching this program on TV last night where they got guys in Chicago. They call it Chicago one of the murder capital of the United States. I think it's still Chicago. Anyway, you got so much crime going on. Where does crime come on? Crime comes from poverty. Well, most of it comes from poverty. A lot of it comes from straight up greed. It initially starts from greed, creates poverty, and from poverty comes all that other stuff. So you got cops on the street in certain neighborhoods, what they call a drop car, a car that they set out and make it seem like they arrested somebody from and left it on the spot for people who are committed into criminal activity in neighborhoods to come out there and try to steal it so they can put them back in jail and money can be made in the criminal justice system. But nothing is being done in the crime and the violence. Nothing is being done in the greed. And that's all I talk about. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? The same things that was essential in the beginning when God put Adam and Eve in the garden and instructed them about life. It's the same thing today. Nothing has changed just because man running the show. Nothing changed. But you got people out here thinking that it has. You got people out here thinking that religion is something, that religion is working. They don't know that the religion that we have in this country and all over the earth is from Satan. That's what it's producing. That's the outcome. I mean, it might sound good. You might have some pictures up there representing this and that, but the outcome is Satan. Crime and violence, poverty, war, terrorism, all these kinds of things. It's a sad statement. Nobody. And when you find a person, if they end up getting hooked up like a marriage or something like that, one good, one okay. When I say okay, they're trying to stick to their principles that kind of make them think they're doing what God wants done, trying to please God. But you will find that this one will not profit in a system that's run by Satan, because there's no good ground for nobody trying to talk about God unless they flip the script. Talk about God on the one hand, do the things that get Satan involved. But then here you are. And your spouse, if you try to do right, your spouse will tell you, we got to eat. Curse God. Do what you got to do. We got to have a place to stay. Curse God. Do what you got to do. We got to have shelter. Curse God. Do what you got to do. Nobody care about no God when you can't eat. But God has a plan that will allow you to eat. But you don't want to do that because it's simpler. It's easier, you think, to please the anti-God. Well, you know, it might come down to a point where you can just get so disgusted with Satan's world, you can just go somewhere and sit in the field and don't eat roaches and worms. Just go out there and die. Or blow your own brains out. You come out a lot better than walking around here in this hellhole. Because in this hellhole, while you think you need food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and a career choice to participate, that's to participate in life. All of those things are to participate in life. But when you get to the bulk of it, when you get all the way to that bulk, and you find out that the only things that you really got is maybe a meal, maybe some sex sometimes in the fantasy of your mind. That's all you really wake up for every day. And grow your kids so they can have something to eat and have sex. Go to bed and get back up and start that. Is that all life was meant to be? Ask yourselves, is that all life is meant to be? I know you're saying no, it's not all it's meant to be. That's why you turn your back on God. You're sold out to the Satan. And because Satan says, look, you got to please God to get what God wants. I got money, and I give you money. So he gives out millions of dollars to people playing ball. Hundreds of millions of dollars for people playing a different kind of ball. Millions of dollars for people dancing and shaking their booty all over the place. Millions of dollars for folks selling drugs and alcohol and prostitution. Millions of dollars for anything that ain't got nothing to do with God. You're teaching, y'all make minimum salary. Doctors, you make a little bit, because people won't live. They'll pay your price most of the time. It's just a lost cause, I think. A lost cause, I think. I wish. Now, wishing don't mean too much of nothing. Wishing ain't gonna fill no buckets with anything. But I wish it was different. I wished it was different. But my wishing only empowers me to use my feet, to use my hands, to use my mouth and my life to not only wish, but to do something. What about you? Bye-bye.